So yes, I am one of those YouTube channels who records a lot of Hamza videos, and you may be getting a bit annoyed about it. But I want to talk you through like my exact reasoning behind it. So first and foremost, not gonna deny it, it gets views. It helps me like grow my channel, reach more people, gets more impressions, like click-through rates and all of that good stuff. So that is a big reason. But it does go beyond that. A lot of his teachings, I've applied a lot of his teachings to my own life. And frankly, a lot of it works. But a lot of it also doesn't. And I do want to like correct that in the space. And not necessarily say my way works either. But rather say there's another way you can try. Try it out. Don't just stick to Hamza's box of views. Because he himself is always changing his views. So I wanted to like speak about that side of things in my previous videos, and I actually do have another video planned we'll probably be releasing very soon, where I just speak about that side of things. The other side of things that I do want to speak about is you have to recognize that the more views you have, the better. What I mean by this is you might have one man's advice and that might be a very successful man in Hamza. But you also need to lose this idea that he's a perfect man. He isn't, I'm not, nobody is, nobody ever will be. So in getting more views, whether it's through YouTube, through me, through Hamza, through books, combine all of these sources and then formulate your own view. That's actually what I encourage you to do. A lot of people got into the zone of watching just Hamza. And I think that's where a lot of problems have been formed. In watching just Hamza, you're becoming like just Hamza. And you don't want to be a duplicate of Hamza. That's why we've seen all of these YouTube channels popping out lately that are like Hamza clones. I was one of them initially, not gonna lie to you, because I used to watch just Hamza. And the problem with that is not every woman is gonna like just Hamza. Not every viewer is gonna like just Hamza. So I think you're getting like where I'm coming with now. Not every like friend you meet is gonna like just Hamza. So you need to bring some authenticity from yourself. And interestingly enough, I'm actually gonna be talking about that in like my next Hamza video. Hamza himself has admitted, it was like a Chris Williamson interview. My friend was telling me about it, and he like showed me like the piece of that interview. But in that interview, he admitted that he put on like this cult leader front to like spread the message to his viewers, which I think was very smart from him. Like I'm actually not blaming him whatsoever actually for doing that. He's like was creating like this better version of himself to portray to the viewer, and that does obviously encourage you as the viewer, or us as the viewers, to like become more like that cult leader man and improve yourself. That does work. The problem with that though is he lost some of his authentic side. Now he retained a lot of it, as in he was very open with his audience, but a lot of it was also upfront. So that in itself, you are becoming like a person who is fake, if you get where I'm coming from. And I do encourage more authenticity in you. I made a video very recently where I told my woman about my anxious attachment style. Do check that out if you also have an anxious attachment style. But essentially, I found throughout my relationship, being authentic, even like in cases where you think it's going to be unattractive to her, be authentic, and oddly enough, that actually is what's going to increase her attraction in you. Likewise, if you're looking at the scenario where you withhold all these stuff and then eventually she finds it out, whether later on in a relationship or in marriage, it's either going to lead to a breakup or divorce. So you might as well just tell her, bro. Like, that's the sort of things that I disagree with now with Hamza and his whole, I'm creating a fake front and all of that. But again, I made a video of that, I'm not going to mock him anymore. Because here's the thing. It probably comes across like, or at least some of videos, that I dislike Hamza or something like that. Frankly, I have a lot of appreciation for the man. He got me out of some dark phases. Wasn't the only force, but he was a major force in getting me out of dark phases. I know a lot of his viewers, you might be one of them, also got out of his like dark space through watching Hamza. So he has a lot of my respect for the work he's done in the space, and also just saving men from like suicide, depression, all of that stuff. So I do want to see him rise again. Obviously there is a part of me, I'm not gonna hide it, where I kind of like want his viewership to go down so I get more. But I do think there's a flaw in that thinking, in the sense that what makes anyone think that you can't watch Hamza and another YouTube show, which is why I actually encourage you to look at more views. Obviously, I win from it, but if I don't win from it, another YouTuber wins from it, and you win from it because you get a broader view. So I do hope he gets like back on the bandwagon and starts picking up like viewership and all of that again. I know he's doing pretty well for himself with the Donna School, and he might be satisfied with that. Very likely might be. But I do think it would be nice to see him have like a good name in the space again, because his name has gone down lately, and obviously I'm not helping it, but it helps me to get views. And in my videos, especially the one where I made like being quite like critical of him, even there I said I hope he becomes back to like this fatherly figure we can look up to. I was harsh on him, I admit that, but hopefully he views it, and if it's not mine, other people's videos, and just gets back on the right track. In terms of now speaking about the fact of like what this means for the future of the space, for lack of better words, I'm saying again, watch multiple videos, but, and this is a big one, get bigger into reading books and bigger into religion. I've been diving into religion myself lately. I have very little videos on it, can be making more in the future as I discover more things. But I do think religion is or has been overlooked way too much. So do look back into that, realign yourself with that, and that's going to act as like a nice compass for you, so you're not just sticking to like some random man, whether it's me, Hamza, or an author of a book. You actually sticking to God. I mean, God has to be above any one of us, so some like better ideas to think about there. But with that said, bro, I'll see you in the next one. To become a better man.